My fellow humans, are you tired of feeling stuck, boxed in by society, your job, your business, or even your mind? Well, in today's thought provoking discussion with John Horsefield, we'll dive deep into how to break through from those limitations. We'll explore everything from the power of creativity and AI to the importance of healing and finding your true purpose. Get ready to challenge your assumptions, expand your horizons, and unlock your full potential. Let's go. All
Yep, it's not
right,
it's not
good
cold.
morning, everyone. Welcome to our podcast. Today we have John Horsefield with us today, and we're going to talk
What's going on,
about
guys?
all.
So what's going on, guys?
John, please allow to have you introduce yourself, what it is you do, what field
Sure.
you're into, and yes.
I'm into way too many fields, but I guess what my main areas that I should be focusing on. So I'm going to graduate school for data analytics. So when I grow up, I'll hopefully be a data scientist. And I'm part of a startup. We're doing a lot of interesting things, including cybersecurity and AI, but also we have kind of a distinct healthcare platform and healthcare, I guess, division. Hopefully, that it'll turn into moving forward. And so, beyond that, I'm also in software sales. So that's typically, the area that I've worked in for like the past 10 years. But I'm just also I guess, I cringe. I'm not trying to make myself out to be like Isaac Newton or Einstein or something like that. But I consider myself like a Renaissance man. I do love science. I'm always constantly reading and learning new things, like outside of like my official degree or whatever. And it's just always been a passion. I think that's kind of what resonated between you and I and what really kind of
Hell
sparked it for me.
yeah.
So yeah, man, most definitely, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I feel that. I mean, you have a title and a degree, but doesn't mean you have to work in the confines of that. It's better, like we talked before, work without the box. The box does not exist.
Yeah,
So that
that's
way
right.
we can explore our minds.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Right. Yeah.
Yeah,
And I think that's like, what we're kind of here for, as far as I could tell, you know, be, you know, there are so many things that, we're kind of involved in, but that seems to be the biggest endeavor. Just, we seem to be explorers above all things, good, bad, or, and indifferent, but humans, right? We explore our minds, we explore thought, we explore the physical space, the metaphysical space, yada, yada, yada.
I
Yeah,
agree.
man.
I feel like nowadays too many people forgot about how to be creative, even be creative in their jobs or their personal lives. They put themselves into a box and they just kind of just forgot how to be human.
Yeah.
How that it's okay to love so many different things. It's okay to be abstract, you know? That's what makes this world amazing.
So to me, it seems like, you're right, that doesn't happen often, right? Where people kind of maintain that sort of openness from when they're young. Do you think that
Yeah.
perhaps societal pressures, including the pressure to get more, kind of dampers that, I guess, the maintaining of that openness throughout our life?
I do. I feel society plays a huge part on that because of the social pressure. People forget who they are. They forget their worth. They forget what they're capable of. And that just kind of compounds over years and years. They turn into just these social robots. And they're
Yeah.
not really themselves, don't know how to be themselves. And when they're presented with themselves, they're like, who am I? What am I? You know?
Yeah.
It's phenomenal.
Do you also think that, you know, just having that luxury, like to chill out for a couple minutes and think about that, like, do you think that, and do you think it's a luxury? I think it's a luxury really of like the working class, and not even all of the working class, because there are times where I don't have it anymore. And, I have to try to, make sure I have that time to contemplate. But, for so much of the world, right? Like they don't even have that luxury where, even if they had the education and yada, 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 but like they don't even have the time. Like they're worried about where their next meal is coming from. How big of an
Yeah.
impact do you think that has had on progress?
Oh, a huge because there's so many people that are thinking about, like you said, the next meal, where my shoes are gonna come from, how am I gonna survive the night? And you're thinking about those things, you're in survival mode. You're not even thinking about you're just existing. You're not even thinking about thriving and flourishing. You're just trying to survive in this little box. Say, okay, food, shelter, safety, you know? And it's
Yeah.
really unfortunate. We're very what's the word? We are very
I thought the word you
something to
picked,
have these
fortunate,
thoughts.
I think is,
Fortunate,
that you
yeah.
picked first. That definitely, and you, by the way, you said that, but I'll take credit for it. That's like the
Yes.
most
Okay.
cis white thing I could possibly do. Like that was me. But
Hell yeah.
yeah, right. Yeah, we are. We're definitely fortunate. And, it's also interesting too that like, that we can change gears here in the United States. And for some people, there's definitely a hierarchy of ease that you can do it, and depending on what, race slash social class you are and everything else, it's like all these like, they all have like almost points that go into a bucket to show how easy it is. But like, a lot of people can't do that. Like you're going to do one thing and you're going to do that thing for the rest of your life. But, I was a candlestick maker, a butcher, not really, but, like I've bartended, I've worked as a bouncer, I've worked as a mortgage consultant. You know what I mean? I've studied biology, I've studied psychology. Here I am, I was going to go to medical school. I'm like, nah, after years of chasing this thing. And then I'm like, yeah, nah. And it was such a relief, to be honest. I was like, what's they been doing that for? Like, and thinking I could make a large impact, which maybe you could, but honestly, my money is on data science and computer science to solve these large problems. Looking at it in hindsight, I'm like, what? And no offense, major medicine, I understand what you're going through. You know what I mean? Their hands are tied, right? Yeah, their hands are tied. You have to if you have peer reviewed research now, it'll take 30 years before it gets into practice. You got to change the textbooks. You got to convince people to buy the textbooks. You got to wait for people to get trained. Ding, 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 ding,
Or
ding.
they're trying to
So
take you down like they did Jordan Peterson. Just saying.
yeah. Say again. What's that?
You know how they're trying to take Jordan Peterson down?
Oh, not
They
really. I
try
didn't
to
know.
discredit him and everything.
Yeah.
He had these radical ideas that's coming out with these different ways of thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, all the institutions try to take him down for going against that.
Sure. Do you ever wonder if there's just a natural mechanism within physical systems to take down things that are just too different?
I believe it naturally occur. I believe it naturally occurred, but also it's something that may be created in order to keep the system so-called in line.
Well,
Keep that
yeah. Well,
alignment.
so like typically in physical systems, like mutations and things that are different, they usually don't last long. Just in general, like DNA, for example, mutations typically don't work out. The error rate, the rate of conservation of the conservative force of DNA, for example, is something silly like maybe one mistake in a billion pairs when you're replicating DNA. It is highly, highly conservative. And then, and that number could definitely be wrong. Might be a million or something like that. So, yeah, I work in sales primarily. Keep that in mind. But no, but really, so it's mostly conservative, right? And so because of the unknown, right? So I think we have to be careful most times when we introduce changes to anything. We have to be careful because of that conservative force. I think it manifests in people's wills, in people's egos, in people's greed.
Yes.
Because if you change this, then I'm gonna have to change the textbook, and I make a lot of money on that textbook.
Also, people don't like change either. They're like
Hmm.
they're so against it. Like, any kind of behavior that needs to be changed for them to go forward, they're like, no, we've been doing it this way for 100 years. This is how we've done it. This is how we'll do it. This is how we'll keep doing it. And that to me can be very dangerous. There's no progression. But then
Absolutely.
that comes in another issue of what is progression. What are you comparing that to as well?
So how would you define it? Progression.
I would find progression is a society going in the same direction, but not necessarily rowing in the same direction. All have a specific place they're trying to get to, but not necessarily at the same time. But it serves the entire society as a whole for better. But that can also be really dissected. What is better? Who chooses what's better? How do we define what is better for each person? Like, yeah. So each person, it's based upon what's better for you, but not on the society as a whole. So how do we
Mhm.
define that? Yeah.
You know, so I was so me, I'm like, go straight for like the biological answer, and that's why I asked you first. I want to hear what you're saying. I'm thinking about it, and I'm thinking about it biologically, and then I'm like, but you brought up a good point, right? Like there's this which I would have completely missed, and it's sort of which is important, I think, and that's this like movement. Like it's a constant movement. It could be slow at times, it could be maybe fast at times, but the only thing that I would like to add is the specific wording, something along the lines of like the way that you define better I think, right? Of course, I came up with this, but
I call it
no,
the
but no,
centrifugal. I
but
call it the centrifugal force.
right? What I think it is that like the better is that you're more suited to your environment and whatever that environment is, right? It could be a physical one, it could be a mental one, it could be a social one. And so I think, and you're safer, you're trending towards long-term survival, right? And I think that might start out at a definition of better. But the thing about better is, right, when people are always like, against this argument against democracy, which I still don't get, but I'm talking about like an actual democracy, where we, right? Because do you know the word
We the
democracy? You know
people.
where it comes from, right? Like it comes from the Greek demos, people, kratos, power, power from the people, literally. And there's no in between. There's no need for a middleman, no need for politicians. And I'm not saying string them up or do anything like that. No, they'd be part of it. They'd be part of the democracy. This is the
No
100%.
purge.
No purge. No, they were born into this crazy system. And although I don't agree with what they're doing, you know, whatever, right? But also, I can imagine if somebody from the third world was looking at me, they'll be like, that wasteful, greedy pig. He's got 2 phones, 3 computers.
True.
He threw away so much food last year. He didn't even eat his
Hang 'em
leftovers,
high.
right? Yeah. And like, wow, like, yeah,
So
it's true.
true.
And it was. And there's 30,000 people starved to death yesterday. And they're going to starve, 30,000 more today and tomorrow. But getting back to that point, wait, where were we? How do we get on that tangent? I guess just the perspective of better, right? How do
Yeah,
we?
we're talking about how, like, as a society and people to we move forward, but that's kind of in the eye of the beholder because what's good for me might not be good for you, might not be good for society, and vice versa.
I think we now have the technology to solve that. Circle that square of democracy. Using blockchain technology, right? We can
Mm,
use that to vote. It's secure, right? It's distributed. It's
a
resilient.
ledger, yeah.
I think it has to be, I think would definitely have to be consensual, and of course, participation would be consensual, and we could come up with decisions, democratically. If people are like, I don't agree. I don't think it should be done on a global scale. Okay, well, you don't have to participate in the global place. You can participate in your local version, and I'm cool with that. And as long as you are nonviolent towards me, I will be nonviolent towards you. I'll adhere to a non-aggression principle, and let's get going. So, but I
Meaning,
think it could get kind of. Yeah,
yeah, I
what are
mean,
your thoughts?
for
I mean, there'd
example,
be
it's kind of
pushback.
like how, like, because so we have Trump as elected president. People voted for him because of things they wanted to have put in place and things he was saying he was going to do. But those things that he was saying he's going to do, how do you compare those to what people think he's going to do, but he's actually going to do? So it's just that perspective of understand how you interpret those things are very important. So you have like a leader, for example, like what they're going to do and what you think they're going to do, two different things. You're on two different wavelengths of how you're interpreting those things they're going to do.
What do you make of the Electoral College?
I don't know enough about it to say or to talk about how the system works too well. It's the
Me either, but I'll
inconsistencies
do
in
it.
it I don't agree with, but yes.
It sounds like you know enough,
Okay.
right? Yeah, because if you're saying you disagree, well, you said you do disagree with it. Is that right?
There's some things I disagree with, but also like that's my opinion. Like
Uh,
my opinion based upon what's good for me, it may not be good for everybody else. Like
well,
I approach
oh,
that from I'm very self-governing. I'm the leader of my own life. I know how to lead myself into battle for the correct things that I want to fight for. But
yeah,
that's not even the right things to lead other people into battle for it may be better for them to fight for. That makes sense.
sure. So anarchistic. Love it.
Maybe.
Maybe, yeah.
I have a
Yeah.
background in that.
Well, here's the deal. Anarchism, here's where, if anyone important's listening, I might lose some credibility, but I'll leave. It's part of like some sort of like, a counterintelligence movement where they rebranded the word, right? Anarchism means without leaders. It doesn't mean chaotic. It doesn't mean without
Automated.
rules, just without leaders. And somehow that word has gotten
Then
changed to this.
yes.
Like, how did it get changed to that? Like, I don't even understand. And the main word that it used to be like is the last definition typically on these things. The interesting part is when I first started paying attention to that about 20 years ago, I've noticed just recently it wasn't there at all, and now it's at least listed in that definition. So I think that's pretty cool. That's progress.
I can see that because I'm very autonomous.
Yeah.
I believe in servant leadership, but serving people, but with my
Mhm.
full autonomy to do what I need as I need when I need to do it. I
Yeah.
understand the effect that that compounds over other people and what it does to them.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
yes,
I
100%.
agree. My vision of the future would definitely be completely consensual like that. No one is forced. No one is forced. Yeah, I think that's super
Now
important.
that's a perfect utopia, but people are going to be people, unfortunately, in this day and age. You know, some people
All right.
believe they're extreme, but they'll want to live with other people or do things in a total cohesive way. So I mean,
Yep.
you're gonna have those outliers too. They're
Well,
not good for society.
I don't think that perfect exists, and we would still have plenty of problems, right?
True.
So, and among them too would be, cancer, the Oort cloud, like you name it, right? So, yeah, and old age, diabetes, whatever. And so, but you bring up a good point. So, do you think that we could set up rules to help mitigate that? And I'm not talking about putting anybody in cages for, doing something silly or anything like that. But I would imagine, do you think this makes sense to have some sort of rules where people agree and maybe they might face some sort of maybe punishment or community service or something else, and or including expulsion? And we're not
Well,
talking expulsion and like, now you live in Antarctica. No, you just gotta live over there. We don't, and you're still gonna have a good life. But I just don't want you killing people that didn't do anything to you.
I don't know. This goes back to those utopic movies and like the show Lost. And I remember that one. The plane crash. They're all on an island, and they have these like they have to make up rules and create things like this to protect the better good of the tribe.
Okay.
So I mean,
Do you
that
think
was
you could do
something you have
better
to
than
discuss with
some
everyone.
writers though?
Yeah, I could come up with, but I have to
Yeah.
discuss with people. But that goes with
Yeah.
also like you have rules and regulations. Not everyone's going to follow them. There could be very bad policy with behind those rules. So
Yeah.
that's something that as Americans or as human beings that we really do have to discuss more because what's going on right now, for example, in the world, things are not working well.
Yeah.
Everything is imploding on itself. People are going in different directions.
I disagree with that a little bit. I think that's what the media is telling us. So, for
Yeah, I'd love
example,
to hear.
yeah, like I cannot tell you how many conversations that I have with Black people, for example, that are very fruitful. We're not supposed to get along, and all that. And it's funny too because they might be a little standoffish at first. They're like, "Let me see what type of guy this is," and they're still willing
That's
after all the
human.
trauma. Oh, absolutely, all the
That's
abuse,
human.
however many years of chattel slavery and chattel bondage, and they're still like, give this Joker a chance. And, and there we are. We're just talking. And, I see that a lot. And I see it a lot more than I used to. And I see Black men in professional settings a lot more than I used to, where 20 years ago, it was almost like a ghost town. You might see a couple Black women, but typically not Black men. And I do not believe that they're any less, inherently less intelligent, capable, or whatever else. And I believe that if they're not equally represented by, because we all grew up in the same place, like when we're in New York, Jersey City,
For the
whatever,
most
we're all the
part,
same. Yeah, yeah, in that area. Like my friend, Black friends live right down the block. You know what I mean? And to go to the same school and to, you know what I mean. So to not see them equally represented, back then, and they're still not, but I think that back then it was much worse, and now it's getting a little bit better. And also, I think it's really a vocal majority online that's there. It's almost like a poker tell.
well, people
Uh,
online are going to be trolls. You know,
yeah,
they're gonna poke
they
the
are
bear constantly. I mean,
absolutely.
I do it sometimes. Wait, is this being recorded?
Yep. I listen. I was doing it all the time during COVID, and just doom scrolling on Facebook, and then I noticed myself doing it a little bit more on LinkedIn. I'm like, why am I doing this? I don't really even believe this, although I believe we have a very long way to go. And to improve, equity for everyone too. It's not just Black people. It's not just Hispanics. It's definitely
It's
everyone.
human
Although
beings,
everywhere, yeah,
regardless of
totally.
race, color, trend, anything.
But
Just
I think we're
human
still doing
beings,
pretty good.
period.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
more better than 50 years ago. Do you think we're better than 100 years ago or 500 years ago?
Well, that's the progression of everything. That would depend on that. it's kind of like I said earlier, in the eye of the beholder. Like for me, I would say yes, but maybe someone else, maybe from a different background or dynamic or culture, may not think so
True.
because they haven't moved their mindset along with as time's been progressing.
Yeah.
So they still
Yeah.
see things in those different eyes still, and I see
That
that a lot
that's a
with
good point.
people.
Yeah, that's a good point. I could see that, but I still think that number would be lower. I think it would
Yeah,
be lower than it was, and again, than it was 20 years ago.
we
Um,
got really political
yeah,
here.
yeah, a little bit. Not really. Not even. We didn't even
Yeah,
talk
I
anything about. You know what I mean? We're talking about the human condition and equity.
do.
We didn't get anything about any political parties, who's right, who's wrong. But
Yeah,
yeah, and but like
and I
it you know,
find myself in between these parties because a lot of little things make sense, but all of them separate as a collective make no fucking sense at all. It's like they're trying to punish us as human beings more than to help us progress as human beings. And there's some disconnect somewhere.
yeah. I consider myself typically like I see both sides, but I'm so left that I probably make the most left person in politics look as a centrist or maybe even a Rockefeller Republican. Yeah,
And
for
I
real.
used
But
to be really left too growing up. But as I've
I can
grown
see
up,
the
I've
sense
gotten
in
to
both
be in
sides.
the middle more. I'm like right there in the middle, and I'm like, what the hell are you doing? What the hell are you? Have you forgotten that we're human beings here? This policies are right, all this stuff is going on is it putting us in the wrong direction here. But no one's really stepped in to do much about that or has had the forte to be the right leader that we need to do something about that. You
I
know?
think that's a fool's errand, to be honest. Yeah,
I
I
can see
do.
that
I
too.
don't think it can be done. I think this current system is doing as good as it can. And that's
So
why
we
I
need a
think we
new
also
system.
say, yeah, yeah, definitely, absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
I
we
get
need a new
that.
way of doing things, no longer,
The
like forget
definition of
separation.
crazy, playing the same
Yeah.
system over and over again, hoping it
Yeah.
works.
Yeah. And again, I'm not saying burn the system down. I'm saying learn from it. Let's figure out what works, in the new system and let's, and let's progress. Yeah,
Like
I think
that.
we live in a universe of enough abundance that we could figure that out. And I think we're also like so much closer to a type 1 civilization than we've ever been before with quantum simulators and AI. And I don't want to hop into that right now, but
Yes,
but I
please.
do think,
Big caveat.
you know what I mean? Yeah, I think
Yes.
though that card being on the table has really given me a lot of hope. I'm like, and to that point, the democratization of AI. Like I just downloaded the latest DeepSeek model on my Dell laptop and it's running on my hardware, not in the cloud. I'm not leaking data. It's my model. It's free and
On your
open source
laptop?
on my laptop.
You were
That
having
thing,
issues with it on my computer because the guy we had on the podcast a few weeks ago kept glitching.
what happened? Which model?
So I don't know. It might have been an older one. If I said from 2023, it was
How are you
on
trying to run
some
it? What type of
German
laptop do you have?
website.
Okay.
Hmm?
Ooh, doesn't sound great. What?
Yeah, it was hard to download. I have to compare
Uh,
notes with you.
oh yeah,
It
yeah,
wasn't the
yeah, yeah, yeah.
latest though.
I can't wait. I'm gonna really like shroud it and make it look very mysterious. It's literally two commands.
Yeah,
Two
we had
commands.
him on here.
That's it.
He was like different faces. It looks so perfect and real.
Oh, you're talking about, oh, that's something different. So when no, DeepSeek
Oh,
is
I'm
what I'm
sorry.
using.
Deep fan. My
Deep
apologies.
fake.
Yeah.
No, that's all good. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah. No,
yeah.
yeah. So DeepSeek runs through this repository called Ollama,
Yeah.
OLLAMA.com. Are you familiar with it?
Yes, I am.
Okay, cool. So yeah, you know the
Sure.
drill. Yeah, so I'm running DeepSeek, which is that Chinese model that cost, I think maybe 3
6 million?
million or something about that. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
way less than what they actually pay in OpenAI. Yeah.
Hopefully, the DeepSeek method that DeepSeek used on OpenAI and did it for $30. $30.
All
And,
that open source. How'd they do that now?
well, because they knew what the method was. So they knew what the method was. They just, could then make it much more efficient. If you think about it, that's probably almost about the same scale, like, whatever is like 100x factor cheaper. Just
Yes.
another. Could we do it again for 30 cents? I don't know.
Eventually. I
Yeah,
know
right.
there's been a
Eventually.
lot of skeptical talk about DeepSeek because the Chinese armhole it has on it.
So again, it's open source. It's
Yeah.
not leaking data. If you're afraid of it leaking data, air gap it. You know what I mean? Like,
I saw an article, I guess they asked something that happened in China and that China came back with like nothing happened that day. It was fine. It's something like that.
Have you tried to ask one of those type of questions to a model in the US?
I have not.
No? Oh, we'll try it. Yeah. So that was
Yeah,
my first thing.
I have not. Yeah, I've
Yeah,
just done either one. I just hear the stories, but I'm using it for other stuff. I'm like, I don't got time for this.
somebody that is not me was like, "Hey, how many bankruptcies did Trump, file for?" Which, like, I think that was a pretty mundane question. Like, we cannot answer political questions. This was before he was president, and it's not political; it's financial. And they're like, "We cannot." And so, every
Interesting.
model I've asked did that. Yeah, yeah. I bet if we also asked, "Are you familiar with the attack on the Gulf of Tonkin?" So, right, it was the pretext for the Vietnam War. Um, Now they went on the news and everything else and said that we were attacked in the Gulf of Tonkin. However, and if you go in our national archives, you'll see that the uh, investigation that was conducted by the NSA said we were not attacked. And also,
Huh.
every time it went up the chain of command, it was photocopied. We were not attacked. We were not attacked. We were not attacked. Goes in to the Secretary of Defense's office. Robert McNamara, we were not attacked. Goes to LBJ. You see where this is going? We
Yeah,
were attacked. And
interesting how that
Robert McNamara sets the record straight when he was older on a documentary, being like, it didn't happen. Things just got really messed up in the fog of war. That's the name of the documentary, Fog of War. It's amazing. Watch it if you haven't watched it.
I'll
But
check that out. Yes.
yeah, yeah, definitely. So I bet if you ask it some of those humdingers of a question, something that are challenging, I'm sure we have guardrails up for that. You know? Yeah,
So
yeah.
limiting our history in something open source, so we're not fully getting the full picture or scope of further back in the history, only from what it wants us to know, based upon those parameters.
However, take this back. Open source is democratic. You can open up the source. Is like, so proprietary typically is some kind of like copyright. What open source is what's called like copy left. And there's some nuance there, right? Because certain IP is copy left and other thing might be explicitly said that it's open source. And I'm not sure exactly the difference, but open source software, right, is free for you to open. It's free to you to share. It's free for you to clone. It's free for you to modify. However, any of the changes, modifications, good, bad, or indifferent, have to be available to share with the community. That's the only agreement. There's also a couple other things, such as like an open source 3D printer, where they would print you the 3D printer with one catch. You have to print two more for other people for free. You get the
Ooh,
thing for free.
nice copy on it.
Yes. Yes. Right.
See
Like,
what they did
as
there.
soon as I saw, I was like, this is the good stuff. Open source. This is the. I was like, yes, yes, yes. This is the path forward.
One for
Yeah.
me, one for somebody else.
Yeah. Yes. Exactly.
Nice.
Yeah. You can't get more hippy dippy than that. I'm like this.
No, you can't.
No. It's interesting because of all these companies that make proprietary software, Microsoft, Amazon, whatever else. You know what they're running on in the background, right? Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. Yeah. All Linux, all open source. In the
It's
marketplace of
interesting
ideas.
because Microsoft had a huge firing debate and thing against Linux, but it's like the whole time, it's like they finally came together. I'm like, wow, really, guys? How's that
That
going
whole
for you?
time, they were running everything on Linux, though. Still,
Yeah, I
regardless of
know.
what they were saying.
Like, what the
Outwardly.
hell?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they're trying to make money.
Yeah.
Like, and they want to make it the old way. They don't make the new way.
Me
With open
once, and
source.
let me try same on you.
Yeah. No, you can make money with it too, right? You do it with like
Yes.
services and other stuff, maybe graphical overlay. I don't know, different stuff that you can sell add-ons, whatever. But the kernel, the most important part, that's the open source stuff. And I've embraced Linux, and I use Linux as much as possible. It's been my main operating system for like probably 12 or 13 years now.
It'd be nice if more people use it. We'd have less issues that we currently have right now in, like, say, our healthcare environments or our business environments using Windows.
Well, the endpoints are Windows, but a lot of their tech stacks in the cloud, the base is still, it's still Linux. But
Yeah.
if they ran all Linux, would it be better? I would think so.
Yeah.
However,
Who's gonna learn all that though?
well,
You can't even teach people
AI.
to turn it on, or you can't teach them to not click on emails, let alone here's Linux. Learn Linux. Here you go. Good luck. IT is out.
Listen,
Like,
first of all, what do people do with computers? It's like, here's the equivalent to Word, here's the equivalent to Firefox. Have at it. My 7-year-old mother, the patience that she had, she let me do this. I put Linux on her computer, and she kept it for years, running it, using it until the good child, my sister, bought her a Mac.
and left her soul.
Oh my God, does she love that Mac? Oh, she loved it. I was like, what happened to Linux? Like, oh man, that
No,
was
they're
great.
similar. They're very similar platforms.
They are, yeah, they're
Yeah.
open. Like that Mac, I believe is based, I think, on OpenBSD or maybe Unix. I forget.
No, it's OpenBSD. I think you're correct.
OpenBSD.
Yeah, if I remember correctly.
I want to
Yeah.
install that, by the way. I got it. I
I
haven't
I
downloaded it.
I went to a cybersecurity conference a couple of years back. They had a
One.
little room. Huh?
Which one?
I was called Cyber. It's coming up soon right now again.
Sorry for cutting you
Oh, I
off.
can't
We
remember
can
the
figure
name
out
of
later.
it. May or April. But they had an entire room where they're like, we're going to install OpenBSD. We're going to set it up. We're going to show you how to use it. It was like a 4-hour workshop or something.
I thought,
It was pretty cool. I remember like one part of the 15. So yeah.
okay, that's good. That was years ago, so you're doing
Yeah.
okay, right? Yeah.
I do that
Totally.
now. I'd probably be like,
No.
boo.
Yeah. You would
I
just have
probably
to do it a
remember it.
couple times. Yeah, you'd figure it
Yeah,
out.
I
Yeah,
probably
it's not.
remember it.
It's really not hard. It's really not hard. It's
Really.
just different. Most people are not familiar with
Yeah.
like the meta stuff too, like how to burn an ISO onto a USB drive and
Yeah.
then enable booting from the USB. Right now,
But then
there,
you
if
gotta
anyone's listening,
load
they're
it
gonna
in.
like, what is he even talking about?
Yeah, then you gotta load the GUI optional.
Yep.
And be like, what do
Yeah.
you mean this is optional? Isn't this normal? No, it's not.
No. All my
No.
friends,
All command
terminal
line got it.
only. Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the giver right there.
Yeah. I'm not there yet. Not there yet. I still like my GUI. Yeah.
Me
Definitely.
too. I get
Yeah.
a little I
So
like going between them.
be totally fine with this. So,
Oh
what did I want to mention? Oh, so you're thinking maybe healthcare.
yes.
Maybe changing over to Linux. I think that would be a great idea. What other ideas do you think could help increase the security posture or better the security posture of the different healthcare groups? I don't know if you want to
Well, not
maybe
even
mention
just
a small one or
healthcare,
a
like
large.
any company, there's two things that come in mind. Is leadership, because there's really bad leadership in most companies because they fail to understand or get what cybersecurity and IT actually do and how they can help them. And the second one is through that leadership of being aware of what's going on in their environment and having the IT or cybersecurity train those people in the right way. So leadership and training are two important things. But because even with the training, you still need to have systems in place that leadership has to approve to protect those computers. For example, so you train someone on, say, security awareness. Okay, don't do this. But does it mean they're not going to do it? Some people can be, oh, well, let's see what I can get away with and go over here and try if I can access this or not. They're still going to try to access and do things. That's just human nature. We have the right systems in place to say, oh, access denied. You can't do that. That's important. So I feel
Absolutely.
those are very powerful things that are just kind of not understood from most leadership of most companies, especially healthcare. We wouldn't be having such issues we have with ransomware attacks and all that, you know?
Why do you think that is? Why are they different from? And I completely agree with you. I wouldn't call them bad. I would
They're
call
not
them.
bad, no, at all.
They
It's
need to
just
be educated
failure.
themselves too.
It's a
Yeah,
failure
yeah,
in
it
leadership.
is. Yeah,
Yeah, and
and
I don't know. I'm still trying to learn and understand that, but I think one thing might just be because they don't understand how to run their business properly. They understand the systems of running their business. What I mean by that is like they're there to scale and to help their people go from A to B with the company. But they need to put the right people under them to run the other stuff and make sure they have competence in those people and give them the power to do what they need to do to help those systems run properly under them within the business. That's what I think.
yeah, I think that's definitely plays a role for sure, definitely. But I think the reason why
A
that
little bit more.
may be what is kind of related to, right?
Yes.
Two things. One is that hackers have traditionally stayed away. There was an unwritten rule that they would stay away from a couple organizations, including healthcare.
Yep.
And I believe the FBI was like and the FBI was supposed to stay away from this website. I think it was Lockbit. I believe. I'm not sure, or the site that
Ooh,
Lockbit ran or whatever. I don't remember. They,
yes.
they brought it down, and then next thing you know, healthcare starts getting hit. I don't think it was seen as a real threat. They were just like, we're good. We must be good because we got our BAA signed, which
We
is
checked our
hilarious.
boxes. We
Yeah,
have
exactly.
cyber
Right? Yeah.
insurance.
So,
Like,
right?
that's
Yeah.
the biggest
Yeah.
lie told of
Yeah.
all mankind right
Oh,
now.
yeah. That one,
Woo!
yeah. They're like, no, we're good. Yeah, we got this. And
I
just
bet
like,
some people
oh,
felt that one out there.
yep, yeah.
Oof.
There was, yeah. It's, it is what it is, right? And until they kind of felt the sting, and now we're seeing that change a lot, right? They've
It's
gotten hit
slowly going over and
hard,
it's coming,
hard.
but it's just going slower than it should be.
I think that
Any
the
companies
reason,
I've seen that is really stuck in what they're doing, how they're doing it, but don't really necessarily understand how to go forward because their business is staying in business and being
yeah,
in business.
and,
You know?
there's no real kind of return on investment either. It's not like
No,
it's not like buying a house or something. There's pretty much almost a guaranteed return on investment,
it's a
and like,
guaranteed
but
loss.
it's sort of like working out. It's like you just got to do it. But I don't see a difference yet. And tomorrow, you're going to see a difference? No, you'll never see a difference, right? Well, you will, but I just mean like the next day, you're never going to
I think it
see
comes
one.
in really with risk management, risk mitigation. Risk
Yeah,
is not understood by a lot of businesses. They get, okay, we have risk. We don't want to carry the risk, but not sure do we put the risk over to next? Who do we give the risk to?
exactly. Who they give it to, like not who solves it. It's just like who's going to sign off on this,
But
and who's
that's
brave
the
enough to be like,
game they
we don't
should
need
be
this.
playing. Yeah, but that's the game they are playing.
It is. Yeah,
It's
not a
risk
great game.
management. I mean, you guys have to mitigate this risk together, not pawn it off. But yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's funny how differently we think too, and just like because my thought went immediately to like nuts and bolts, like MFA, this stuff, and then you're just like
Thinking
thinking of
that
these broader ones like education policy. Then yeah, definitely because
all of
you,
it,
you know
though, all of
it
it.
is absolutely, yeah, and
It's
that's
not just one or
the
the
beauty
other.
of democracy.
Big,
Folks out there listening, right? Yeah, you get enough people in a room who are, wait, I'm some schmuck online, soci, no offense,
just
but
some
like,
guy on YouTube.
yeah, exactly, right? Yeah, and we can come up with some good ideas together. And the more of us try to think about these larger problems, right? Like, how do we work voting? How do we work rule making, decision making, blah blah blah? Like, we'll figure it out if we are respectful and we respect everyone else's views. We could figure it out. There, even the unthinkable. What about that? We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. Yeah,
Well, I
I,
believe
I
with
I
the
firmly
internet
believe that.
age and all of us coming online, there's so many more minds involved in these things now, that
Yeah,
you can connect with people across the globe and reach out to them and come together and figure things out more than you ever could before. That's
yeah,
also good and dangerous to people who don't want that as well.
yeah,
They hold
yeah.
it's a threat.
I think that if we increased the equitable distribution of resources and basically raised the base level, not taken away from whoever wants their golden toilets and whatever else, like keep them. I don't want it. I really don't. And,
Golden parachute.
honestly, and we have enough resources where they can have that and we don't have to have 30,000 people starving to death. We can fix this problem like 100%. And they could still have that. You know what I mean? Honestly, you want a new Bentley every quarter? Go for it. I just recommend, let us design you a system that could recycle the materials so we don't have to be so wasteful. Please. We'll figure this out.
Yeah, that's
Right?
why I
Yeah.
believe in servant leadership because,
Yeah.
through my business, I'm creating a purpose for people and creating leadership through that. But at the same time, I'm building a business that creates money, and that money gives me options, and those options give me the ability to do more things for mankind like this.
Yeah.
You do need money, unfortunately, to do those things, and how you spend that money is very important.
Yeah. Oh my
Not
God. Yeah.
selfishly.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
yeah,
And the other point is the reason why I'm so optimistic because of AI is because look at the problem that it solved. It took a problem, a $30,000 problem, reduced it to 30. I mean, I don't even know actually what it was, to build open AI's
like
latest model, but
130
billion.
million or something like that.
Well,
It's over
I,
130 million. It was a
I
lot.
wouldn't be surprised if it's billion. And because if you think about it,
Possibly.
it's the accumulation of tens of, probably 10 years or so of research and development. It didn't just was developed independently, but either way, whatever it is, right? We took it from there and we reduced that problem to 30,000, and then was further reduced to $30. Like, you could see how we could drastically reduce costs and increase efficiencies, to solve problems. And we just have to be properly motivated and ask these right questions. So the resource problem will totally, it's like, you want a trillion gazillion Brazilian dollars? Take it. We got it. It's right here. And no, seriously, we gained that through these efficiencies, and we're good. You know what I mean? Honestly.
It's
And
good
I
that
do
you have
believe that.
that mindset with it, 'cause a lot of people don't quite understand the gift that AI has to offer, how good it can be. But then they have the other side of that where they're like, well, this is the third industrial revolution. We're all screwed.
Yeah.
It's like you need to take on a different mindset with it, get on board and use it to help you, or it's going to will pretty much replace you. You
Yeah.
know, I feel that.
I think that the Industrial Revolution was definitely a good thing. I think it, for the most part, did some horrible things become of it. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Right. Sure. Yeah. But
Progress
I do
does
think,
that, or reprogress, depending on how you think about it,
yeah,
how you see it.
I think we have a violence problem. We have a self-absorbed sort of, ego problem as a species. You know what I
I
mean?
can
And
see that.
I think a
Yes.
lot of that has to do with trauma, with abuse, that we're in the cycle. We're in the cycle. And I think we can do better.
100.
Yeah, we can do better with that. And I think when we start tackling those problems as well, we'll see a better future.
I
I think
100% because
we need
all
amnesty and forgiveness.
yeah, the violent, horrible war going inside yourself, that falls over from your personal life to your business, to your family and everything. If
Yeah,
you really work on yourself, heal yourself from that ages of trauma, no matter what it was, from yesterday to 10 years ago, you heal that inside of you. You can, I always tell people, be the leader that you need to be for yourself and the world, your family, your friends, everything. You can accomplish such greatness. Just heal yourself. And that goes through business, personal, family, all of it. It compounds all the way down. I tell people that all the
absolutely.
time. People look at me like, this guy talking about some weird guy on the internet, you
Yeah.
know?
Probably not. Yeah, I think it probably resonates with a lot of people. And,
Yeah.
because this, sort of like healing ourselves, especially like our psyches, in particular. I think it started really with our bodies, with exercise kind of revolution, whenever that was, jazzercise, all that stuff in the 70s and 80s, right? Yeah. And
They're
and
on to
now,
something.
yeah, yeah. And then now it's more common to see people talking about, our behavioral problems, our psychological problems, substance abuse problems, so on and so forth. We're talking about these things more openly, not, that we're not being, fully transparent, talking about as much as we need to, but, and we're also sharing some things that work, right? Both conventional and non-conventional. And
100.
yeah, I can't tell you the amount of people that I've just, they'll spill the beans and they'll talk about, just whatever it is, some deep dark secret on like product demo. And,
They
and
need someone
also,
to talk to.
yeah, they
They're
do.
trying to get it out, but they're not sure who to connect with or how to try to connect. They're scared, but they're going back and forth, you know?
Sure.
We need to
They're
make
also sharing.
talking a thread, like to make talking more open again. You know,
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
I
Exactly.
just went through that same thing. Like I overdosed. I died about 2 years ago. I had a drug overdose. I had to heal myself. I had to get to the point I am now. Through that whole episode, I found my purpose. But I had a lot of healing to do. I was angry. I was bitter. I was frustrated. But it's like starting my business, building those systems, helping build those systems in my own life to heal. So I get that. It's a true thing.
Yep. It's important. And I can tell you, and I don't know where you are in that, but like, just know it will be a lifelong process of healing and moving forward. And just when you
Oh,
think,
100%.
if you ever
Never
think
stop
for a
healing.
moment that like, I'm good right now, like, no, no, no,
That's dangerous. That's when you get in
happened to
trouble.
me. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Definitely. I wouldn't say I was an alcoholic. My wife here is just like totally alcoholic. Definitely. But
Don't
like,
listen to him.
no. But I think the only reason why is I never did it every day, and it was really just a very unhealthy relationship that I had with it. And call it whatever you want. I just like to nitpick. I think, and I get, maybe I'm a little like neurodivergent, and I'm like, there's definitions for this, and this is like I had a drinking problem, and like whatever. But
Yeah.
I think we need to put that in boxes. But I think the reason why that one isn't healthy for me is because my father would give me alcohol when I was like 4 or 5. Not a lot, a couple sips here and there. And like, I just never had a healthy relationship with it. When I decided to quit, I just stopped. And I was like, this is just not good for me. The reason why I stopped, thank God, was so mundane. My wife helped me out with that. She was like, you act like a total asshole last night. You were
Hell
trying to
yeah.
drive, and she hit the keys. And I was like, oh, I love you so much. My God. Probably
Yeah.
saved my life, honestly, right? Like, you can't, you know what I mean? That would have been terrible. I could have hurt somebody. I could have hurt myself. And that was it. I think 7 or 8 years ago.
It's
That was that.
crazy.
My life changed
Congratulations,
so much
man.
better.
Hell
Yeah.
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 And really, so that healing also is like a mindset change too. For example, like I used to go to AA meetings. I wasn't a fan of them because
Me either.
people were there, they were dry drunks. They stopped drinking, but they never changed their mindset. They never really properly healed and went to the next level. They just
Yes.
stayed, okay, I stopped drinking. Okay, I don't drink. That's it. And they're
Yeah.
right there. They
You have
just
to
don't
heal.
move.
Yeah. You have to
And it's
mature.
scary. That
Yeah.
scares me. Like, oh my goodness. How
Hmm.
can you not progress, not grow, not move forward?
They're
Like,
not getting the right guidance as
I
well. They
agree.
put their faith in that. Relapse rates of that are not published. They don't publish their success rates. And that's because they're probably not great. Do you know the story behind Bill W?
I've read a little bit. I don't recall the story. I
Yeah, so he got himself sober, I guess, through 12 steps, but he maintained until he died that why he stayed sober was LSD. And that's why they kicked him out and they wouldn't let him back in very early on. As soon as he started talking that, they were like, hold the plug.
well, that kind of goes with the California sober, right? Oh, I smoke weed.
Yeah. And
Well,
how
that's
do you
what.
feel about that? If that works, if you're a healthy, if it doesn't affect your life negatively,
Well, I
and
feel that good. If that works for you, good. It didn't work for me. I need to have a clear mind, clear conscience, and find my purpose outside of all of that for
yes,
myself. If someone finds that that's working for them, great. Keep doing what's working until it stops working. And when it's not working, find something else. Because that goes with the kind of that purpose, you know?
yes,
So
I
yeah, no,
I think that's important, and you mentioned that a lot. Purpose,
I do.
right? Yeah.
Purpose is very
Is that
important.
on purpose?
No, it's not.
Uh,
It is not on purpose. I mean, yes,
No.
sorry, it is on purpose. It is on purpose.
I
My
no, I,
bad.
I think it's good, and I've never really considered what I what I want to do and what I would like to my future to look like purpose, right? But every time you're saying, I keep thinking about it. I'm like, okay, this is my purpose. Yeah. And I think keep doing that. It'll probably help
Yeah,
people kind of square that away. I think it's important. You need to have that as a
it
drive.
is.
Like, what motivates you? Like I'm 47, and they're like, how do you stay like motivated? And you're studying new stuff, you're reading new stuff, you're like career change. What are you doing? And I'm like, how are you not motivated? I'm like, first of all, we're in the middle of the largest mass extinction of the past 65 million years, and I'm not going down on my knees. Like, I want all full press ahead. Let's end depression. Let's increase equity. Let's ease suffering to maximal values, whatever that is. Could you ever solve anything? Absolutely, definitely not. Well, let's try, because we can do it. And I
Right.
think happier cows make happier milk. I think we'll really see progress if we're not, if there's not a boot on the neck of 75% of the population.
Right.
Wild idea.
I know. And like for me, I've noticed like I'm not always motivated, but I have noticed that the purpose drives me being disciplined. And I've
Yeah.
learned that discipline is more important than motivation. Because sometimes you don't want to do shit. And like you're like, oh, I'm just gonna
Do that
sit
shit
here and do
anyway.
that piece of shit. It happens.
Yeah.
But
But
that discipline helps you kind of keep doing the things you're doing to move the thing forward, I believe, for
well,
myself.
what about the motivation for the discipline?
Yeah, I think they
Like,
all kind of go
I,
together
I don't
there.
even know. Yeah, it does. I don't even know if there is a difference. You know what I mean? Like, in the definition or whatever. I'm just
Yeah.
arguing to argue. But I
I am
agree
the
with you.
beholder
Yeah.
once again.
Yeah. Do it,
Whatever
man.
works
It's your show.
for
It's
you,
your. Oh, yeah.
that helps you drive for that purpose that you feel that you've been gifted with to do. That's what we need
Yeah.
to do.
Yeah. Yeah. We need
That's
to be
because a
both
lot of
one.
people don't really find their purpose or their gifts, or they have this gift inside them. They don't know how to really bring it out and use it. So they get stuck in jobs and
Yeah.
tasks and things that they're just not happy doing. And then they don't even know what real happiness or what the difference between happiness and joy are either. You know? And just figuring those things out, I feel like you heal, you kind of fully fine tune those and you find them to that
Yeah,
peace and that mind, that mindfulness. It really changes a lot of your life, you know? But yeah, you got
absolutely.
yourself that time to really sit there in your thoughts, you know, just be you with you, for
Yeah,
you.
you need that
That's hard.
regularly. Yeah.
Yeah.
After COVID happened, I had to like dial it back and like start like, I noticed like I couldn't sit in my own thoughts. And so I had to start with 3-minute timers. There was like, I used to be able to do a half hour, like whatever, and again, I'm not claiming to be like, I used to be like Zen, Buddha, transcendental,
You have
whatever.
no
But
idea,
like,
man.
yeah, no, I was like uncomfortable. I had to lay down. I couldn't sit up like that. I took the lazy man's way but I would be able to like stay awake, concentrating on one or two things. I would drift, but I could bring it back and I could do that for a half hour. And I could literally like it was a struggle to do 3 minutes. My mind was racing
That's
everywhere. I'm like,
hard, man. It's
bring it
not
back. It is. Yeah, yeah.
That's why I had
But
to do yin yoga, because that when you're
what
doing
is that?
something. So
Okay.
yin yoga it's pretty much meditation and yoga. You do a stretch, you lay there and you hold it for 2 minutes, and then you go to the next side. But you're
I like that.
doing something in the process also, not just sitting there like quiet completely.
Yeah,
So
that's
I
like
could do that.
meditation for people with ADHD. I like it. Yeah.
Exactly
Wait.
what I have. I mean, is this being recorded again?
Yes, it
Damn it.
is. Oh, please, come on. Who doesn't at this point? Honestly, for real. I'm convinced I see it, But yeah, man, I think I see the utility in all of it. Like I try to do combat sports, no sparring, anything like that, really. And I put that in quotations because like I barely go. I'm very off again, on again, or whatever. But I think that's important. I think meditation's important. Lifting weights is important. Cardio is important.
Yes.
Yoga's important. It's all important. And I used to be so fixated on doing like one or two things. And now I'm like, what am I going to do? Like, what am I going to play pro football or something? Like, nah, man, just stay healthy, stay strong, have some sort of thing, and get as much diversity in my exercise as possible. So,
Do what
yeah,
works for you.
yeah.
Like you
Again,
said with the combat sports, I got into Krav Maga, and that changed my fucking life
did it really?
after being in the hospital after that overdose. It changed my life. Putting those systems into place, getting my mind right, and just kind of fighting and sparring with people brought such pleasure and amazing joy to my life doing that. So that's a real thing. Along with, like you said, the gym and yoga. Yes,
Try
it
not
goes
to do head
together.
contact. Okay.
Hmm?
Try to stay away from head contact if you spar, please.
Head contact.
Yeah, don't do head contact. CTE, no good.
Yeah, I don't
No
want to
good.
lose my brain cells. I only have enough gone.
You got two. I only got two left. I'm guarding those things. No one stay away from
I'm
my
like,
head.
no, man. Nope.
Yeah, totally. Um,
Hell yeah.
There was one other thing I want to mention, but
Yes.
I forget. I don't know if you'd be down for another one of these in the future, but I would love to.
Hell
I had a
yeah. Be
blast.
back on
Yeah,
here.
definitely, man. Yeah, yeah. I mean, we didn't even really talk about the stuff that we want to talk about.
Yeah,
So,
I
I
just
mean, this is
believe
great too. But I think
that's
it's
though.
yeah, yeah, it was
One of the
yeah,
best ones yet. Don't tell
yeah,
anyone. Damn, it's being recorded again. You
yeah,
can't stop that.
yeah. I really had a blast, man. I thought it was a lot of fun, and I think we covered some like really important
Really
shit.
deep, good
Yeah,
topics. It
yeah,
really goes
yeah.
with everything. It goes with business, leadership, personal growth. All
Yep.
because you don't have that. Like we were talking about the healing and the growth. If you don't have that, you can't really go to the next level in your life. But you bring over that toxicity with you into like your business, your
Yeah,
family. All this is very important. What we talked about,
yeah,
and people look at that like, oh well, that's not what you talk about on your channel. I'm like, I talk about things that help human beings be better human beings to be humans in the human world.
yeah,
Period.
yeah.
Woo!
I like that. That's a mouthful, but ultimately, I think that sums up pretty well. Like that's what I'm looking to do, and you'll probably tackle it from a slightly different problem
Yes.
angle. So will I, and so will the rest of us, and we'll cover our bases.
Yes.
Yeah, 100%, man.
We're all
Yeah,
so different. And that's
yeah,
great. That's amazing.
yeah,
If the world was all the same, that would fucking suck.
and
Like,
it's very
I don't know
dangerous.
about you, but I would want to see me next to me, with me, over me, inside me. That's just weird, I don't know.
Oh, you had me until the inside, and then I'm like, yeah, nah,
Yeah, I
definitely, no,
got carried away there.
no, but you
I
know,
was thinking about the healing inside. Where's you
no,
going there?
yeah, yeah, you know exactly where I was going. Like 14-year-old John in high school. I'm like, sit inside, you know?
Okay, Stifler, calm down.
Absolutely. But yeah, I think it's important because we don't know what the future holds. So we need to have as much diversity as possible. That's really what it's all about, and that goes with everything. It goes with genetic diversity, social diversity, intellectual diversity, and so on and so forth. Yeah, I think if everyone has a better life, just like you're pointing out, we'll get there. We'll be much better off, and we'll get to wherever we're going much quicker. Yeah,
100%.
definitely.
Everyone needs to take themselves out of the goddamn box that they put themselves in and that they've allowed others to put them in.
Yeah,
And remove that box as a social construct, and it should not and does not exist. It's just in
yeah.
your mind.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right. I think that's a very important part too. It does not exist. It does not exist. There is no box.
Mm-mm.
Right, Morpheus? No.
There is
Yeah.
no
Really?
box.
Yeah. No, it wasn't Morpheus who said
Which
that. That was a little
pill
girl,
will
but
you
whatever.
take?
Yeah. Love that movie. I've watched that so many
I
times.
I
That
get
movie.
it more and more as I get older. When I was
Yeah.
younger watching, I was like, "Okay, I get this." It's almost like watching They Live from the 90s for that movie. They Live.
Oh
They put the glasses on. It's
yeah.
like
Yeah, yeah,
obey,
yeah.
consume. You're like, what the
Roddy
hell?
Piper. Yeah.
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 Came here to
Yeah.
chew bubble gum and kick ass.
Yeah. I missed that completely when I was a kid. Yeah. I
Same
went back and
same
watched it. I was like, oh my
concept.
God, this is such a great movie. Like a great movie. Yeah, great sci-fi,
Yeah.
yeah, 100%.
There's
I haven't watched
such
that in a while.
real connections and honesty in these movies and
Yep.
concepts that most people, if they were able to grasp them, would change their lives. But so most of it kind of goes over a lot of people's heads, unfortunately. Because, oh, that was a cool movie. Whatever, man. Good
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah, again, what sort of upbringing did they have? What sort of,
True.
where they taught critical thinking? Where are they at in their lives? I know, like, when I was in school, one semester, I had everything go to hell in a handbasket. Lost my job. This happens, that happens. And like the first half of the semester, I was like Babe Ruth out there. I was like pointing to the stadium,
I got
pointing
this.
to the upper deck, bam, knocking out the park. Second half was a struggle. I got to be in the course, but it was rough. And it was, the tale of two students. And, where was I intellectually? Where are you at to be able to have that sort of higher thinking is so important. It goes back to Maslow's hierarchy of needs. You need to have those things, they've got to be solid. The foundation's got to be solid for you to do higher level stuff.
Well,
So,
that
yeah,
comes with having the right people in your life and understanding that now it's time to clean the house and hang out with people that are on a higher level. They're going that direction, they're going where you want, or been where you want to go. You
yeah,
know, you,
absolutely. Yeah.
you
I,
gotta
I
go.
didn't I didn't get that till I was a little bit older. I should have got that in high school, ended up getting that more
Oh yeah, me too.
mid twenties, mid
Right.
twenties, late twenties. I'm stubborn, very stubborn. I told my wife that
Yeah,
I will change. I will change, but begrudgingly. But
we
luckily,
are.
again, we have this long life, thank God, and I have had that sort of, steady change, and that's
We
important. And I'm
not
glad.
take it for granted, but we
No,
do
yeah,
some. We
yeah,
can't. We shouldn't.
no,
Life
definitely no.
is so beautiful. There's so much that
Short,
has wrong. There's so many connections with people over the
yeah,
internet, everything. There's so much
absolutely.
to do and accomplish and help and be and become, I
Yep.
feel.
Likewise. Yeah, man. And
Yes.
that's why I like video more so than comments. I think on comments on the internet, people are less respectful. It's almost like
Oh,
they see the
yeah.
other people as an avatar.
Fuck this guy.
Where, here, right? We're respectful. We have different views in certain things, right? And we, whatever didn't even cause any issues. And we realize most of the things, as with everything, and we agree on so much more, especially the foundation. I want to be
And
happy. I want my friends to be happy and healthy. I want a roof over my head. I don't have to worry about bills. Like, we agree, but
positive matters more than the negative.
yeah, yeah, we might disagree
Like,
on how to get there, and that's fine. But we could hash
yeah.
that out. Yeah,
Yeah. And a lot of people don't know how to do that. Like, I have friends that are like pro Trump, ones are pro Biden, and they're split and disconnected. They're so angry at each other because of it. You
yeah,
can't see what they want. But it's
yeah.
like you're never gonna see eye to eye with most people, and that's okay. That's
Mhm.
the joy of being a human being and connecting. Just
Yeah,
don't hold that against them, for any reason.
yeah,
There's no reason to. This is
definitely
what
not.
makes us beautiful creatures and humans. Like, come on,
Absolutely.
people. Can we all just get along? Oh, did
Yeah.
I just say
Yeah.
that?
I'm with you, man. I'm with you. No, yeah, I really believe that. And I was part of a like a text chat group, whatever on Signal. and it was just everyone's going back and forth about Trump and Biden or whatever. I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, people
Like,
were talking about leaving the channel, and I was like, guys, I said something silly like that, like, can't we
please
all just
do.
get along?
Please,
I was like,
please, please.
guys, stop being.
Please, 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 please.
No, I
Me.
was like, you guys have known each other for years. I was like, you're doing the algorithms work for you. I was like, please stop it. Don't. This is silly. You know, we all getting along fine a couple weeks ago. Are you kidding me? No one knows what they're doing. People support these people blindly. It's almost like, how many people choose differently than their parents? You know what I mean? Like, not many. You're born in a geographical area. You're born in that box. You stay in that box, basically. You can get out of it, but that, and you have this
Fuck
like
the box.
prescription, and it's like, if I believe Trump is this and I do that, then I definitely believe the Earth is flat. And it was just like, how do we get there? That was like,
That comes back to purpose, though. That's their purpose at that time. They haven't found a purpose to latch onto. They find all these little things. They're just giving them these small little joys and wins, but not moving the needle forward. It all comes back to purpose, always.
definitely does, man. Yeah,
So true.
and it's almost like if you have that purpose, I guess another kind of term that is probably overused, but that's fine, is like intention. And if you do things
Whoa.
with that, the intention of I guess maybe keeping that, of fulfilling that purpose, right? You do better work. You definitely do better work. You're passionate about it. You have your eye on the prize, and it's important.
Hell
Kind of keeps you
yeah.
disciplined, keeps you motivated. Absolutely. Yeah, yeah,
Hell
I
yeah.
fully believe that. And I don't do it enough, and I didn't do it before this call. We should have, but I should have taken 3 minutes. I was running late. This story of my life, and I was like, yeah. But I think to kind of set that intention, even if we do it separate together, whatever. But
Yeah.
I think that's sort of just taking a couple minutes to get that squared away, set your intentions. I think that's probably would
I
be very
actually
useful.
agree with that. I find myself not doing that all the time too.
Yeah,
I could
we're
do
human.
that more and do that better.
Yep. Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
like I'm learning myself that like how you're running late. Like I'm learning myself that shit happens. We're humans. Things are going on. It's kind of like,
Yes.
why hasn't he emailed me back yet? Where's the other fucking email? Where is he? Hello, are you picking up your phone? It's like, dude, breathe. It's okay.
Yeah.
Life happens.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. Let that shit go.
Yeah.
That's
And
how I'm learning
ultimately,
more.
we're good. Like, we're good. Figure it
Yeah.
out. I'm alive. You're alive. We're all intact. Maybe not everyone has those luxuries, but me and you, for right now, we're good. And
Yeah.
maybe sometimes there might be some moments where, like, we're not good and we can have to get manic or whatever else. But like, for the most part, in my adult life, I'm very blessed. Where like, I'm good. Most of that panic could have been dialed from 7 to like 2 or 3, and I would
What?
have had my life would have been much easier. And that's where I'm kind of at now. Learn how to kind of dial that
Yeah.
back. Be okay. We're good. Just, yeah, let's not come undone. You
Oh yeah.
know.
Everything else on the sparring mat right now.
Thank God we live far away. I still have sciatica right
Woo!
now. I need a
Oh, no, I don't mean
yeah.
that stretch.
I'm just hitting the pads and stuff like that, and that hasn't been for maybe probably like a month or two. But I have sciatica, taking easy, so I have not been doing any sparring. And yeah, it's okay. It's not bad. And this, like, activity like that was the best thing for it. Like, my pain
It
like
is,
evaporated.
dude.
Yes,
You're moving
yes,
all your parts of your body and
yeah,
everything. You're like, oh, that works still? Oh, I still have that? What the?
yep, exactly. I was
Wake
shocked.
up, body. Come on, buddy.
Hmm. Yeah,
Real
yeah.
stuff, man.
I got off of opiates because of that and fasting. It was like,
Hell
yeah,
yeah.
and not I was taking tramadol, like 50 milligrams, like 3 to 4 times a day. So anyone that's listening, I wasn't like crushing up like OxyContin or something like that. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's like anything. It's not even caffeine. Anything that we're using in our bodies is not used to or not meant to be there. It's always
Yeah,
feels nice not
yeah,
to have it and get away from it.
it is.
It's
Especially
like,
because what I noticed too
whoa.
is, like, I need like double, like 2 or 3 days later to kill that pain. And it was like, that's not really sustainable. It'd only be when it'd be very acute. And I was treating it with also, and I still am, with diclofenac and also gabapentin, but I'm down to one gabapentin a day, which is awesome. I was taking 3 to keep it at bay at first, but
After this call, you're healed.
yep. Oh, that would be amazing, right? The,
Can you imagine?
yeah, yeah, yeah. I could totally imagine. I got great imagination. You're gonna have to try much
Yeah.
harder than that. Like, try to imagine a 4-dimensional cube. That's where I kind of break down. Yeah, man. They say a 4D cube casts a three-dimensional shadow.
Damn.
What?
Explain that
How's that
to me.
possible? Yeah,
What?
I can't because I have no idea. Because I'm a dumb football player. No, because like I just wear a shirt of like subatomic particles. But
Yeah,
but
bro.
no, right? Like, how can you possibly conceptualize that? I don't think we can. I think anybody that claims, I would be very, I would be very reluctant to believe them. You know what I mean? Like a 4D cube. What? Stop. I think mathematically, maybe you can understand how it might, but to conceptualize it in your head, I don't know. Either
I
way,
think
whatever. I think it'll be
AI will
difficult.
be presenting us with a solution down the
So
road.
far, been failing miserably. I've asked it so many times. I'm like, that's so wonky. I was like, this is not even 4D. I was like, come
Give it
on.
time. Give it like
Yeah.
10, 20, 100. Just
No, maybe three. No, know what I think it could do? I think if we had some type of Neuralink, it would just be like, this is what it's like. And you're like, oh my God, there it is.
get it now.
Yeah.
Great
Yeah.
Scott.
Yeah. I can do Kung Fu, you know? Yeah.
Dude, that's gonna be amazing way to upload programs to your mind. I'm actually looking forward to that because I love knowledge and learning. But I don't absorb it like I would like to.
How long do you think until we could do that? Let's say maybe on a small scale, like upload the solution to like a maze,
I'm
to like
guessing like
a
10
rat
to
brain.
15 years for consumers. So I know
Yeah.
it's there now. They're
Consumers.
working on
No.
it.
Okay.
They have it, but you have to have
Yeah.
money to buy into it now.
Yeah, I was
So
asking
down the
because
road.
that's probably 20-year-old technology. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Oh
so
yeah.
yeah, I don't know about if it ever went to consumer, but for a rat to solve a maze, that was 15 to 20 years ago. Yeah, on a chip, that was wild. Yeah, so I'm sure now you're probably right. It's probably available to some, right? Who knows?
Oh
Maybe
yeah.
that's what's going on with Elon. He's like got that mind meld on with marketing. Guy's good. He knows what to say. Isn't it like
He does.
magical? I'm like, who takes this guy serious? You know, I'm like, really? I'm like, this guy,
Well, then I
you know,
watch his
come
stuff
on,
and like he's smart as hell, but I have
is
a
he?
hard time following sometimes. I'm like,
Yeah.
is it
What's
me?
so
Or is
smart?
it him? Hold on,
That's so
wait,
smart.
what?
People are like, and listen, my wife is like, oh, you're a hater. I'm like,
No,
maybe. No, but I'm like, really? Yeah. What did he invent? He bought everything. And
smart man.
if my parents were owned a diamond or whatever, it was an emerald mine, like I probably would have done the same thing. He's playing the card he's dealt. So I'm not faulting him at all, but I'm like, but like, he's bought all of the things that he was supposed to create. So I'm like, you know, and I'm a fan.
Yeah, I
I
thought it was a
like
great
some of
when
the
he
things that he
bought
did.
Twitter. I'm like, good move. I saw that coming
Did you?
because
How
they
do you
kept
think? You
talking
think still a good
shit,
move?
and he's
Yeah.
like, you know what? I got the money. Fuck you guys. Here's my fuck you money.
Yeah.
Literally, that was
Well,
amazing.
but he's still doing the same stuff that he was complaining about
Yeah,
with the shadow bans and stuff and censoring people. So, but
yeah.
maybe he's like, but now it's kind of balanced because I'm the platform
Do
that does
we
it for this
know?
other
Is
side.
it balanced?
I don't know.
Is he still doing this? And we will actually never know, really.
Yeah. Well, we do know. We know factually that they're banning people and censoring people. Like that's for sure.
Oh shit!
After he bought it, like that's out in the media. It's accepted. We know it's happening. Yeah, definitely. So
I
so
thought he
with
was
that
trying
said,
to fight against that.
yeah, exactly. Right. And I guess he's fighting against it maybe by banning other people, not all
So
on
as
the same
long as it's
party.
not talking about him, for everyone else is open game.
I don't
I,
know. I just know it's been happening. It just, because
I
after he
mean,
bought it, I
private
was checking.
platforms, you can pretty much ban whatever the hell you want to, regardless.
Agreed.
Technically.
Agreed. And that's it too. We vote with our feet. We vote with our feet. We vote with our wallets. And so that's go on Twitter. That's why I don't go on Facebook. It's an echo chamber anyway. So I'm on Blue Sky. It's another echo chamber.
Thank you, John, for coming on. Appreciate having joined this talk.
Definitely,
I
man.
just saw
Yeah,
how
it was awesome.
time really got away from us here. My
It
phone's
definitely
been
did.
ringing off the
Yep.
hook.
I haven't looked, but I'm sure. Yeah, I got a bunch of notifications and everything. But I
Yes.
appreciate the time, man. Yeah, let's
Yeah,
do this
thank
again.
you. Is there anything you'd like to leave the
Awesome.
audience with before we go, and ways that they can reach out to you as well if they want to
Um,
chat?
yeah, definitely. They can reach out to me at John J.O. at outlawresearch.com. Just like it's spelled, no punctuation.
Hell yeah, man. Thank you again, John. Have a wonderful rest of your week.